In this video, I'll be revealing the 8 signs that indicate you can retire now. And if you answer yes to these questions, you might be more ready than you think. For years, I've sat across the table from incredibly successful people who've built substantial wealth, but were paralyzed by the decision to finally step away. Through working with clients who struggle to determine their retirement readiness and analyzing what separates confident retirees from those who delay unnecessarily, I've identified specific indicators that signal true retirement preparedness. And that's exactly why I'm making this video today, to give you those 8 concrete signs that show you're ready to retire so you can make the decision with confidence rather than fear. If you're new to this channel, my name is Cody Gunn. I'm a CFA charter holder and the founder of Arrowstone Wealth, where we help our clients retire early through smarter investing and lowering their lifetime taxes. And with that, let's get right into it. Okay, first things first. If I asked you right now, what's your number? What does it cost down to the dollar for you to live your ideal retirement life for 1 month? Could you answer? Not a ballpark, not a guess, an actual number. If you can, you are already ahead of 90% of people approaching retirement. Most people operate on very vague assumptions. They think, well, I'll spend X now, so I'll probably need 80% of that. That's like navigating a cross-country road trip with a crayon drawing of a map. You'll probably get there, but it's going to be a really bumpy, uncomfortable ride. Expense knowledge indicates that you've moved beyond guesswork and into an actual strategy. You've sat down and calculated your true lifestyle costs, your housing, your property taxes, healthcare premiums, your travel budget, your hobbies, and that ridiculously expensive golf club membership. All of it. You went down to the dollar to see how much it's going to actually cost you. Knowing specific numbers like these enables confident decision-making. It transforms the conversation, and instead of asking, is $2 million enough? You can now ask, how can I best generate $8,500 per month from my assets? You see the difference? One is a question of fear, and the other is simply a question of engineering. And why does this clarity prove more important than arbitrary savings targets? Because knowing you need, say, $6,000 a month is infinitely more valuable than wondering if $1 million is enough. $1 million sounds like a lot, but without knowing your burn rate, it is simply a number. When you have expense certainty, you can build a plan that's based on reality, not emotion. And very often, my clients discover that their actual retirement lifestyle is more affordable than the boogeyman that they've built up in their minds. Expense clarity creates the foundation, but understanding income diversification shows why having multiple sources proves more reliable than depending on a single stream of income. Think of your retirement income like a stool. A one-legged stool? Tenuous and risky. All your weight's on one point of failure. But 2, 3, or even a 4-legged stool? Very solid. Income diversification means your financial security isn't entirely dependent on the daily whims of the stock market. You've built a more resilient system. This could be a combination of Social Security, a pension if you're fortunate enough to have one, maybe rental income from a property, and then, and only then, your portfolio withdrawals. Having these multiple income streams provides a powerful defense against market volatility. When the market decides to have a tantrum, like it did last Friday, your guaranteed income from Social Security or a pension acts like a firewall, protecting your core lifestyle. This allows you to avoid selling your investments at the worst possible time. In fact, having guaranteed income often enables more strategic and even more aggressive investment strategies with your remaining assets because you are not a forced seller in a down market. So why does this income diversification prove more valuable than just a larger portfolio balance? It's about psychology. Guaranteed income provides a psychological comfort that a market-dependent portfolio simply cannot match. Knowing that your mortgage, your utilities, and basic expenses are covered, no matter what Wall Street decides, is the definition of sleeping well at night. This structure protects you from the silent killer of retirement portfolios, sequence of returns risk. That's the fancy term for the bad luck of having a market downturn right after you retire. Multiple income sources gives you the flexibility to reduce portfolio withdrawals during those downturns, letting your investments eventually recover. It's the strategic advantage that a single massive 401k just can't offer you. Income diversification is essential, but having a solid withdrawal strategy shows you've solved the biggest challenge of turning your savings into suitable retirement income. For 40 years, your entire financial life has been about one thing: accumulation, building that mountain, saving, investing, growing. But the moment you retire, the game flips entirely. It's no longer about building the mountain. It's about navigating your way down safely and sustainably for 30 years. And that requires a completely different skill set. A solid withdrawal strategy means that you've thought about how you're going to turn that mountain of assets into a predictable paycheck. You've researched and have a point of view on strategies like the 4% rule, the bucket strategy, or dynamic withdrawals. You're not just going to take the money out when you need it. That is not a strategy. That is a recipe for a bunch of anxiety. Having a plan to turn your assets into income eliminates the huge psychological barrier of spending down your savings. After a lifetime of watching that number go up, it can feel deeply unnatural and sometimes painful to start taking some money out. And why does this withdrawal strategy planning prove more critical than continued accumulation? Because the skills are not the same. Being a great saver doesn't automatically make you a great spender in retirement. You have to actively plan for decumulation. And here's the key. Strategic withdrawal planning often reveals that your current savings are already sufficient for a comfortable retirement. When you map out how the money will flow, you often realize the mountain is already big enough. This confidence is what allows you to time your retirement based on readiness, not fear of the unknown. A withdrawal strategy enables a stable income, but debt elimination ensures that that income isn't immediately consumed by all the payment obligations. Carrying high interest debt into retirement is like trying to fill a bucket that has a giant hole in the bottom. No matter how much income you pour in, a significant portion is leaking right out to the credit card companies and the lenders. I'm not necessarily talking about a low interest mortgage that might have tax benefits. I'm talking about wealth-destroying debt, credit card balances, personal loans, car loans with high rates. Carrying this kind of debt into retirement can erode your savings faster than inflation or any market dip. Freedom from these payments frees up your cash flow dramatically. For many, debt elimination reduces their monthly income needs by $1,000 or even $2,000 a month. Think about how much less pressure that puts on your portfolio. If you have a credit card with an 18% interest rate, think for a moment about how much better those interest and principal payments are if instead of going to the credit card company, you simply put them into a fixed income security yielding 4%. You've gone from losing 18% to gaining 4%. That's a complete game changer in retirement. Eliminating that debt provides profound psychological comfort. It reduces financial stress and demonstrates that you have the discipline to live within a fixed income, a critical skill for a successful retirement. Now that you understand these critical financial signs, if you're ready to evaluate your retirement readiness, click the link below and book a call with me where I will analyze your specific situation and give you some actionable retirement advice for your future. Okay, let's move beyond the numbers because you can have the most perfect balance sheet in the world and still be miserable in retirement if you haven't addressed this next sign. This is the one most financial advisors are afraid to talk about because it doesn't fit neatly into a spreadsheet. And believe me, I love spreadsheets. But it might be the most important sign of all. For decades, you haven't just been an accountant, a doctor, or an entrepreneur. That hasn't just been your job, it's been a huge part of your identity. Your social circle, your daily structure, your sense of purpose. So much of it is actually tied to your career. Emotional readiness indicates you're not just retiring from something, you're retiring to something. It means feeling ready to leave that work identity behind and begin genuinely excited about the one you're about to build. It means you have other sources of purpose and an interest that you're actually eager to pursue. Why does emotional readiness prove as important as financial preparedness? Because retirement satisfaction depends far more on purpose and fulfillment than it does on portfolio size. I've seen multi-millionaires go back to work within a year, not because they needed money, because they were bored, aimless, and felt completely irrelevant. They were financially prepared, but emotionally they were bankrupt. Emotional readiness is about having a plan for your time, not just for your money. It's what determines whether retirement feels like a promotion to a life that you've always wanted, or it's a layoff from the life that you knew and the life that you loved. Now let's talk about the financial black hole of retirement, healthcare. It's the one expense that has the potential to blow up even the most carefully crafted plan. Healthcare planning means that you haven't just assumed that Medicare will cover everything from day one. If you're retiring before age 65, you need a rock-solid plan to bridge that gap. This could mean COBRA, a private marketplace plan, or a spouse's plan. Going without coverage even for a few months is a gamble you cannot afford to take. Beyond that, it means you've factored in the costs that Medicare doesn't cover: dental, vision, hearing, and significant out-of-pocket costs. And critically, it means you had a serious conversation about a strategy for your long-term care needs. Studies show that healthcare costs can easily consume 20 to 30% of a retiree's income. An unplanned medical event is one of the single biggest threats to your financial security. Proper planning just doesn't mitigate risk. It often enables higher discretionary spending in other areas because you've contained this massive what if. Now, I had a fun conversation with a client last week where we were joking about the true worst case scenarios of retirement. So I had to include this in the video because if you aren't stress testing your plan, you're creating a big risk for yourself. A retirement plan based on best case scenarios is not a plan. That's a prayer. A true ready retiree has a plan that's more like an engineer's blueprint for a bridge. It's been tested against storms, high winds, and heavy loads. Stress testing means you've gone beyond simple projections. You've run sophisticated analysis like Monte Carlo simulations, which tests your plan against thousands of different market scenarios, the good, the bad, and even the ugly. You've tested it against major market crashes in your first few years of retirement. You've tested it against a prolonged period of high inflation. You've modeled the financial impact of one of you needing long-term care. This isn't about being pessimistic. This is about being prepared. It's about building an anti-fragile plan. Preparing for challenges enables adaptation rather than panic. When, not if the market gets volatile, you won't be glued to the news wondering if your life's work is just evaporating. You'll be confident because you know your plan was built to withstand exactly this kind of turbulence. This process provides a level of peace of mind that a simple projection will never offer you. Stress testing ensures plan durability, but having a clear retirement purpose transforms the transition from ending your career to beginning your next chapter. This last one brings us full circle from the point on emotional readiness. If your only reason for retiring is to escape a job you hate, you're running from something. A true ready retiree is running to something. And it's specific. It's, we're going to spend 6 weeks in Italy next fall. It's, I'm going to finally get my workshop set up and build furniture for my grandkids. It's, I'm joining the board of that nonprofit that I'm really passionate about. Because purpose is the engine of a happy life. Retirees with clear purpose report significantly higher levels of satisfaction regardless of their net worth. A meaningful retirement provides structure, social connection, and a reason to get out of bed in the morning that has nothing to do with your paycheck. This clarity is what allows you to pull the trigger in retirement with excitement, not hesitation. Now that you understand all 8 signs, let's look at how to assess your overall retirement readiness based on everything that I've talked about. So how do you put all this together? Think of it like a final exam for your career. Go through these 8 signs and give yourself a score and do it honestly. Expense clarity. Do you know your number? Income diversification. Do you have more than one source? Your withdrawal strategy. Do you have a plan to create a paycheck? Debt elimination. Are you free from high interest payments? Emotional readiness. Are you excited about what's next? Healthcare. Have you solved the pre-65 and long-term care questions? Stress testing. Is your plan built for the inevitable storm that's coming? And a clear why. Are you retiring to something wonderful? Be honest. Where are you? A 10 out of 10? Maybe a 4? Maybe a 5? The goal isn't to be perfect on every single one. The goal is to identify your strengths and, more importantly, to create a plan for the areas that need some work. A gap in your withdrawal strategy or your healthcare plan doesn't mean you can't retire. It just means you have a specific problem to solve before you do. And for the complex areas like this, getting professional guidance can be the difference between moving forward with confidence and staying stuck in work for another 5 years. Now that you understand the 8 signs that indicate you're ready to retire and how to assess your readiness across all these critical areas, you can make this important decision with confidence rather than continuing to delay unnecessarily. You've spent a lifetime building your wealth, and now it's time to build a plan to enjoy it. If you're ready to get professional guidance on evaluating your retirement readiness and developing a comprehensive plan, click the link in the description below and book a discovery call with me. There's no pressure, just a straightforward conversation to see where we can help you get the clarity that you deserve. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.